Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Fahim Shahib bin Abu Bakar. Our group M will be presenting about the film The Trial of Chicago 7. The Trial of Chicago 7 is based on true story. It is released on 2020 and directed by Aaron Sorkin. Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, David Ellinger, Tom Hayden, Randy Davis, John Farnes, Lee Weiner, Bobby Seale were among the leaders of anti-war movement that lead their own organization. They wanted to have peaceful demonstration at 1968 National Democratic Convention to show their stand on refusing war between USA and Vietnam. Their request to have peaceful demonstration is refused by the mayor. Their demonstration, however, turned into a riot and had a confrontation with cops. All of them are caught. The judge of their case are biased, and it made their trial more difficult. The defense decided to put Ramsey Clark, who was the Attorney General during the riot taken place, on the stand to give testimony. The judge, who is Julius Hoffman, ordered jurors to stay out of the court during this testimony. Ramsey Clark, with his knowledge during his administration, testified that it was the cops who started the riot and not the defendants. The judge again refused to let the jurors know about the testimony that can be the evidence for the defendant to be proven innocent. On the night of demonstration, Tom Hayden, who was on the stage in front of the crowd, saw a miner climbing a pole and being chased by cops. Rennie Davis tried to pacify the cops but eventually got hit on the head. Tom Hayden, Tom Hayden accidentally provoked the crowd with the word, "If blood is gonna flow, let it flow all over the city," and the riot ensued. On February 18, 1970, each of the seven defendants was acquitted of conspiracy. At the end of the trial, despite the Judge Hoffman's instruction and objection, Hayden uses the closing statement to name the soldiers who were killed in the Vietnam War since the trial began. This act prompts many in the court to stand and cheer. I pass this presentation to Munaza.
Assalamualaikum and hi, so my name is Munaza bint Rosli and I'll be explaining about the case analysis in the trial of the Chicago 7. So the case analysis consists of parties involved, facts of the case, judge decision, and also the ground of the judgment. So I'll start with the parties involved first. So the case has brought 8 defendants with different organizations and also background, and there are 4 organizations that has been brought to the courtroom, which are the Students for a Democratic Society, which led by Tom Hayden and Rennie Davis, and the next one we have the Youth International Party, or known as UPs, led by Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin, and the next one we have the National Mobilization Committee to End the War in Vietnam, which led by David Dellinger, and lastly we have the Black Panther Society, which led by Bobby Seale, and the other defendants were John Franz and Lee Warner, were the masterminds behind the dirty bombs. So on the next slide, I have the real life parties shown in the picture, the defendants and their counselors, which are the Leonard Weinglass and also William Castler. So moving on to the facts of the case, so 5 out of 8 defendants, namely Tom Hayden, Bernie Davis, Jerry Rubin, Abby Hoffman, and also David Derringer, were in contact by using telephones months before the convention even started, that put them an act of planning a conspiracy beforehand. And there were 2 riots happened, which was the first one happened at the Grand Park, and it was triggered by the arrestment of Tom Hayden, and the following one, which was the worse than the first one, happened at the Conrad Hilton Hotel nearby to the convention itself. So the main riot happened on the night before of the National Convention itself, so that the leaders and their supporters are having a gathering at the Grand Park, but the conflict started when Rennie Davis got beaten by the police, that Tom Hayden lost his conscience and shouted to the crowd to confront the police and ignore the danger that might come after. And the catching phrase was, "If our blood is going to flow, let it flow all over the city," that led the massive crowd marching towards the National Convention. But luckily, the National Guard was blocking all the ways to the National Convention, but somehow Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, Tom Hayden, and 11 others successfully fleeing from the police. Then moving on to the judge decision, Judge Julius Hoffman found Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, Bernie Davis, Tom Hayden, and David Danger were guilty for incitement to riot and violence, and they were sentenced to 5 years each in the federal prison, whereas John Farnes and Lee Weiner were acquitted from all the charges, and Bobby Seale was spirited from the trial by declaring a mistrial happened. And lastly, the ground of the judgment. So Judge Julius Hoffman decided that the defendants were charged by referring to the United States Code under the Section 2101 of Title 18, or known as the Red Brown Law, or can be called as Anti-Riot Act, which prevents activists and protesters to have a conspiracy to cross the state lines by inciting a riot or violence. And the defendants were proved to be starting the riot by referring to the Tom Hayden's voice tape that triggers the crowd to confront the police and that results into a terrible riot happened.
Let me proceed the presentation about types of law involved and related law in Malaysia context. Types of law involved in the film is criminal law. Criminal law is a law that prohibits certain forms of wrongdoing and imposes punishment on those who do it. Related law in the film is 18 United States Code Section 2101 Riot Act 1968. Whoever travels in interstate or foreign commerce or use any facility of interstate or foreign commerce, including but not limited to the mail, telegraph, telephone, radio, or television with intent. First, to incite a riot. Second, to organize, promote, encourage, participate in, or carry on a riot. Third, to commit any act of violence in furtherance of a riot. Fourth, to aid or abet any person in inciting a riot or committing any act of violence in furtherance of a riot. The Act of the indictments alleged crime of three situations. First, all Act defendants teach the manufacture of incendiary devices to their followers and obstruct the legal duties of law enforcement officials. Second, David Dellinger, Rennie Davis, Tom Hayden, Abbie Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, and Bobby Seale crossed the line to incite riot. Third, Joe Fornis and Lee Wiener instruct others to make and use tear gas. Related laws in Malaysia legal system context. According to the Act 15 Sedition Act 1948 under Section 4.1, any person who does or attempts to do or make any preparation to do or conspire with any person to do any act which has or which will, if done, have a seditious tendency, utter any seditious words. The reason why they can be prosecuted under this act are: first, they had organized and instigate their followers to cross that line and incite riot. Second, they convey their seditious message through phone call and speeches to the public. Third, their seditious message include spreading conspiracy to make people feel hatred towards the government. They will be fined not exceeding 5,000 ringgit or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or to both. According to the Penal Code Act 574, Chapter 8 Offense against the public tranquility under Section 147, Punishment for rioting, and Section 152, Assaulting or obstructing public servant, they will be punished with imprisonment for 2 to 3 years with fine or with both. The reason why they can be prosecuted under this act are: first, the accused of inciting and instigating a riot. Second, the accused of obstructing public servants or jobs in performing their duties. Now, I will pass the session to Fahim.
Terms and definition. Perjury. The crime of intentionally lying after being duly sworn by a notary public, court clerk, or other official. For example, not telling the truth during testimony. Sequestration. The act of a judge citing an order that a jury or witness be sequestered or kept apart during trial. Sua sponte. Judge order made without a request by any party to the case, such as defendants or prosecutor. Next, I will pass the presentation to Akid.
So I'm going to present about the type and the functions of court. The case in the movie The Trial of Chicago 7 is brought to the district court. So what are the functions of the district court? District court can hear all of the serious criminal cases, equity cases, domestic relations cases, and civil cases which do not exceed $15,000. Besides, district courts also decide the appeal from county courts and various administrative agencies. Since there is no district court in Malaysia Court of Justice, so it will be brought to the magistrate court if this case happened in Malaysia. There is a similar case happened in Magistrate Court of Malaysia, where 18 individuals were charged in connection with riot incident at the Sri Maha Mariamman Temple at 18 April 2019. So the Magistrate Court in Malaysia is divided into two types, which are First Class Magistrate Court and Second Class Magistrate Court. So what are the functions of the Second Class Magistrate Court? Firstly, the Second Class Magistrate Court has a civil jurisdiction where the amount of the debts cannot more than 3,000 ringgit. Secondly, the Second Class Magistrate Court can hear a criminal case where the maximum term of imprisonment does not more than 12 months or punishment with a fine only. Thirdly, the judge of the second-class magistrate court can pass sentence which does not exceed 6 months of imprisonment or a fine which does not exceed 1,000 ringgit or both. Next, what are the functions of the first-class magistrate court? Firstly, the first-class magistrate court has a civil jurisdiction where the amount in dispute does not more than 25,000 ringgit. Secondly, the first-class magistrate court can hear a criminal case where the imprisonment term does not more than 10 years, or a fine only, or the crime case under Section 392 and 457 of the Penal Codes. Thirdly, the judge of the first-class magistrate court can pass sentence which does not exceed 5 years of imprisonment or maximum fine of 10,000 ringgit, or whipping up to 12 strokes, or both. In the end of the movie, the judge Julius Hoffman passes the sentence of imprisonment for 5 years to Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, Tom Hayden, David Dillinger, and Rennie Davis in federal prison. In conclusion, everyone should know about the legal system as much as possible of their own country to avoid from breaking the law in any activity. Therefore, the well-being and prosperity of the citizen can be maintained if everyone follows the law of their own country. That's all from us. Thank you.